guys, welcome back to the channel. Taking a look at the M56 Scorpion on the test server. It's a tier 7 premium elite tank destroyer. Outward appearances make it look like it's not going to be a brawler tank. It's going to be a sniper. It's also not very big because you're comparing it to the SU-85B, which is not really a very big tank in itself. It's actually smaller than that. It's going to have a really small profile, so that's number one on the pluses for this thing. It's also going to be probably have a very good camo rating. Probably next to invisible like its little Borsig brethren that are kind of similar to this. So taking a look at the hit points, you got 820 hit points, which is, it's okay. And it also weighs nothing. So if you probably touch any of your friends, if you graze by them, if a slight breeze will probably knock your gun out of alignment. So you want to be careful with anything you do with the tank, because you'll probably take a whole metric butt ton of damage. You got a 200 horsepower engine, which probably isn't actually too bad as far as horsepower per ton goes. The numbers don't pop up, but I assume it's probably pretty good because it's not pushing around a lot of weight. You've got a 45 horsepower or 45 top speed, so that's actually not too bad, and a 40 traverse. But from what I understand, the ground resistance on like muddy ground and soft ground isn't so great. You can see we've got one hull armor, so load up your HE for this thing and you'll be pretty much on automatic pen unless you get one of the fantastic new no damage tracking shots that you'll probably get from the accuracy nerf. So the only stuff you'll probably soak up is probably through here, or as if you glance off the barrel or something off the top or something, but don't look to be dodging anything from this tank as far as armor goes. Next, we'll take a look at the gun traverse speed is 12, so it doesn't go back and forth very quick at all. And you've got pretty crappy, mediocre 350 view range, which is not fantastic. Next, we'll take a look at pretty much the most important thing on the tank, which is the gun. And you've got a 90 caliber gun. Pretty good for a tier 7 with a 7.7 rate of fire, which should probably shake out somewhere between like 6.5 to 8 seconds, somewhere in that range. We'll know once we jump into a game. And your average penetration is a sprightly 220 with 275 for your high explosive anti-tank, unfortunately. And 240 damage across the board, 0.33 accuracy, and a 2 aim time. So pretty accurate with a pretty nice aim time. Whether this balloons up into like the size of an elephant when you drive around or not, we'll find out. But in closing, this gun is probably actually the gun that should be on the Super Pershing. I would be very happy if Wargaming got off their ass and actually buffed up the Super Pershing so it can actually have like one thing that's good about it, because right now it's not the armor, it's not the mobility, and it's not its mediocre gun. If the Super Pershing had a 220 horsepower gun, a 220 penetration gun with 240 damage, even if they knocked up the dispersion to like 0.47, I'm fine with that. If they put the aiming time up to 2.3, I'd also be fine with that. But this penetration value, I believe, is what the Super Pershing should have out of its 90 mil, because it needs something. Like, it's slower than a Lion, it's slower than everything else heavy tank wise in the game, and its armor does not hold up anymore at all. Like, you get heat rounded by everything at tier 9 anyway. So if the Super Pershing had this gun, I would be extremely impressed and happy with Wargaming. I would like to start a petition, and I'll get you all to send in support tickets advocating for the same thing. Crew wise, you're going to want to take lots of camouflage and anything that lets you see farther probably. And as far as modules go, we'll end up taking coated optics or rammer for view range and reload times, and also going to take a camo net, because the more invisible I am, happier I'll probably be. As far as ammo goes, I'm just going to take mostly AP with a little bit of heat rounds and 3 HE in case I run into more tanks that are just like me, or a Borsig, or anything of those ilk. Because this thing does have normal matchmaking, it will see tier 9 tanks, so you have to take that into account. I'm also choosing to take 2 repair kits as well as the large first aid kit, because I anticipate a lot of module damage and crew death because the tank has no armor. So we'll jump into some games and we can see what this thing is like when it's out and fighting into battle. Ask and thou shalt receive. We've got pretty much the campiest map in the game. And if I don't take any team damage or get one shot killed by this KV-2 at the beginning of the game, we might be able to play. Now, I think the best position for me to take would probably be for me to get up on the top of the train tracks or into this position right here where I'm pinging at D7, because you get to shoot up the hill from there. And of course, I don't want to get spotted, so we'll just try and like roll backwards. Hopefully no one will see the fact that... Oh, he's turning. He's turning. He's not going to one-shot me. Excellent. Oh, the artillery's not one-shotting me. You can see that people are already firing at the beginning of the match. I'm just going to try and hang out behind everyone. Maybe won't notice. They won't notice that I have a US beside my name, even though I'm not from the US. I'll just click this over so we can see who is American and who is not American. The gun arc is so huge that it kind of feels like I have a turret, even though I know I don't. So what we're going to do is climb up right here and stop. We're going to hang out with this other Scorpion dude. So firing at the 112, can't really hit the weak spots because the accuracy just isn't there anymore. So what we'll do is we'll just wait for the next tank to pop his face up, and then we'll shoot at that. Not getting very good FPS from this patch. You can see that my FPS is down in the 20s, which is pretty god-awful. There is an IS-3 in town, and looks like we've got a Tiger 1 over there. $239. The alpha damage isn't too bad. Oh, we've got a Smurf on our team already. Not because he's good, it's because he likes to team kill. So what we're going to do is we're going to back up and we're going to shoot down here. Oh, do you see that shot? That shot deviated like 35% to the left. Accuracy nerf in full effect. Managed to hit that Tiger 1 though there. Gonna shoot through this guy's... That actually does work. They've actually cut a hole in the tank so you can shoot through there, which is pretty cool. So what we'll do is we'll just jump in front of this guy because he jumped in front of us. See if we can get some more shots into the 112. Not looking too bad on the accuracy front on that shot. Doesn't look like I'm going to get too many more shots into that guy. So I'm going to try and drop down here. Take a look around. Oh! Looks like we've been neglecting the hill. One of the main problems I'm finding is I can't really shoot over the train cars very well. Hit one into the back of that CDC. Now I'm going to try and secure this guy. Oh, shot went a little bit high and he didn't go forward like I was anticipating him to. So instead we'll shoot at the CDC, and again the accuracy nerf makes the shot miss. And then the CDC goes invisible in plain sight, which is also a pretty cool feature of WoT tanks. So looks like we're probably going to get spotted very soon. One more into the FCM and it's time to back up and relocate to the other side of the map where we can hopefully hide for a little bit longer. Because it's just a matter of time before that CDC pokes his head over here and kills this Scorpion. Now that might not happen, but we'll see. Oh, they decided not to move up. But that's no reason not to relocate when you have a tank that's actually not too slow. It's not too slow at all. So we're going to move up, kind of parallel these tracks. You see the other Scorpion's taking damage because he wanted to stay where he was at. And aim time, aim time, aim time, aim time. managed to hit him there. Accuracy working. Accuracy working there on that one. So what we're going to do is just hang out in this bush. And there's an E25 down there, but I'm probably far enough away that he can't hit me. So now I'm going to be looking for that T-54 to be popping up right about here or here. I'm going to change my shot to hit him. Unfortunately, the shot didn't hit him where I wanted exactly to, so we're going to switch targets to this guy, aim for the side of his turret. Accuracy hit him, but things aren't looking too good now. Basically everyone on the team is dead, and we're the last one alive. Didn't lead that shot very well, but I'm having some frame rate problems. Take a blind one there. Try and hop into this bush over here. Gonna have an E25 in my ass pretty quick here, I think. Looks like that one shot did actually go in. So we'll shoot one more time, and I don't know if I'm spotted now. I probably am. And I wasn't quite able to get that last one off, unfortunately. So, bit of a weird game. I'm not used to playing at 20 FPS, but for whatever reason, that game just seemed to have frame rate problems, which I've heard is happening with the test server with this patch. So looking at the damage, did 1,877, camped up like a storm, did third on the team as far as experience goes. Little team damage from the Super Pershing, to be expected. And let's look at the accuracy report. We got 12 out of 17. Some pretty huge glaring misses. Some my fault, some FPS related, and some nerf related. 9 penetrations out of 12 isn't bad though. The 220 pen was fine. I didn't fire one round of APCR, and everything was at a distance of, a lot was at a distance of over 300 meters, which was pretty good. 4 hits received, 4 for damage, not really surprising there. And 67 from, I'm not sure, from splash from artillery evidently. Looking at credits, if you have a standard account, you're going to be looking at from almost a 2,000 damage game, almost 28,000, which is kind of underwhelming. If I have a 2,000 damage game on my Dicker Max, I make about this much money, so I'm not really impressed with how much money it's pulling in. But it doesn't look like the ammo really cost a hell of a lot, so it looks like for a decent game where you do almost 2,000 damage, you're only going to clear about like 16,000 credits with a standard account, and that's honestly kind of poor. Yeah, not really too impressed with that. But we'll jump into one more game and we'll see how it goes. And here we are on Mines. The map for ants. Aiming in on the Super Pershing. Not quite good enough to hit his weak spots. Even with 0.33 accuracy. Even with it, not able to do it. So we're going to hop into the bush and see the trees are falling, so he will be coming this way. And gonna stop, gonna aim in again. Managed to miss again through over the top of the tank. I'm pulling back one more time. So at 95 meters you're able to hit the Super Pershing's weak spots. Now I'm gonna pull back, and it looks like the 12T is gonna come around and try and help. And the T-54 is shooting him in the back as well, which is quite nice. Shoot him point blank range underneath his little wings on the side of the turret. You can see the mobility of the tank's good and the gun depression is good. And I was a little bit worried he's just going to YOLO down on top of me, but he comes down and shoots, but then he turns around because the 12T is right up his ass. And he just keeps pouring damage into him. And he takes him out. So we don't die to the Super Pershing, which is always nice. And definitely the hallmark of this tank is the mobility. Like, it moves around pretty good. It was the best thing about the tank. I wish the T-54 actually moved as good as the Scorpion does. That T-54 Mod 1 was a real letdown. So looking left and looking right, don't have a shot at either one of these guys, so I decided to go a little bit higher into the high ground. See if I can maybe get some shots into the 112 and whatnot on top of the hill. And that's when our Scorpion decides he's going to go and try and brawl it out with the T-54, who is more than happy to jump down there and do it. So he's going to get rammed. Stop. Didn't fully aim that shot, but the advertised 2-second aim time, it doesn't seem like 2 seconds. It honestly is, it feels like longer than that. Especially when you're just finished traversing the hull, like you can see it bloom 1,000, 1,000, 2,000, 1,000, 2,000. It doesn't really feel like 2 seconds. It feels a lot longer than that, which is unfortunate. And the turret traverse is a real limiting factor on the tank as well, because when you want to try and get the gun over, like it moves so slow, you want to turn the whole hull and then it blooms the whole thing so much higher that it kind of wrecks the whole quicker aim time thing that is supposed to be good about the tank. Now the things that I liked best about it was basically the gun depression was good, the mobility was good, the gun arc was good, but the traverse speed really hampered the tank, and when you traversed the hull, it wrecked the aim time. So there was a few things that compounded and made the perks of the tank not as good and kind of detrimental to the performance of how it works. So I'm going to pop up, and I'm going to put a shot, and it's trying to track the SG-152 there. But I'm looking right, and then I end up shooting a dead husk of a tank that I can't see in that bush. So unfortunately for me, I've got the SG-152 bearing down on me, and he's aiming at me there, but there was no help forthcoming, so I decided to just drop off the back. I couldn't have really gone right because the AT-15 was going to shoot me, so I had to drop off the back. And instead of the T-21 coming over to help, he decides that he is going to drive up in front of the Scorpion and die. So I stop, aim at the Scorpion, and then the accuracy pulls hard to the right because RNG is so strong these days with this game. I unload HE, and I can't penetrate a 1 armored tank, and I end up doing 6 damage, splash damage, to that enemy Scorpion, and then that cooked my goose there. There's not much I could really do. Traversing in the water was virtually impossible at that point. That game ended up being about 1,300 damage or so, which isn't terrible, but it wasn't really a great game. But I was having such a hard time getting a decent game on the test server that it wasn't worth playing anymore to try and achieve any better result. It just wasn't going to happen with the ping problems, the FPS problems, the team killing problems. There was a lot of stuff compounding, making it hard to play to get even the games that I did get. They weren't really that great, but it shows off what the tank is like. Like the gun arc is good. I generally think the Scorpion isn't too bad. It's just there's a few things about it that are kind of hindering it. The view range isn't very good. You kind of need to swap out the optics for binos, I found, and you need to be in a bush. Like the camo rating wasn't very good from what I could tell. I was getting spotted in some of the games, and I got one shot like twice by artillery, and because I was spotted, and I didn't know I was spotted because I don't have sixth sense and stuff. It's a thing that you critically would want on this tank, and it ended up getting me killed twice before I even knew I was even spotted. So you take a lot of module damage, you take a lot of crew damage if you get hit. So you really want to be in a bush. You want to move around and make sure other people are spotting for you, because you don't really have the greatest ability to spot for yourself. You But just in general, I've gone over the things that are good and bad about the tank. The credit generation could be better. I wish it was higher. I don't know what the tank will be priced at. I assume it will probably be somewhere in the range of like $30 to $50. I don't know what it is. It's probably going to be, but you have to see whether that's in your range to what you think is a good deal or not. But generally, I think if the tank rolls in at about $25, like that might not be too terrible. But if this thing's in the $35 to $45 range, Canadian or American, then it's definitely not worth the purchase at all. The best things about the tank are definitely the mobility and the gun depression and the gun arc. But there's not too much else to say about it. I've talked about most of the points that I found that I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. And it's up to you now to make your final decisions on whether you think the Scorpion is the tank for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.